What's going on, bottom line viewers? We're back. It's Mitch, Dylan, Kev. We're here to tell you who's going to win the Royal Rumble in 2017. It's coming up real soon, and we wanted to get this video out before the Royal Rumble just to tell you our best bets for the Royal Rumble. Who's going to win, who's going to enter first, who's going to enter last, who the surprises are going to be. We're going to have all that covered on this episode of the Bottom Line View today. Guys, let's just share your quick thoughts on how you feel about the Royal Rumble. Is it your favorite pay-per-view? Is it not your favorite pay-per-view? Do you love the match? What about the Royal Rumble is special to you?
The Rumble, for me, I haven't been watching a lot of live shows, before 2013. So a lot of these Rumbles live are interesting because some people like to hack the show. But I did get to see a good one last year, and I think it's one of my favorite matches. I think it's my second favorite big pay-per-view behind Mania, of course. Just seeing all the, getting excited, man. Here comes the next entrant. Some spectacular, oh my God, this guy's coming back, or really good moments in here and there. When the crowd doesn't hijack the show and make it absolute crap, I think it's one of the best matches. And it's really, really entertaining. So I always look forward to this show every year, and there's a lot of talent in this one for sure. So I think this is going to be a good Rumble with some good, interesting picks, and some interesting surprises could come about. I'm really interested to look at this Rumble for sure.
Other than the G1, this is probably the best booked, structured show of wrestling, because it does bring out so many different storylines. And I always liked the Royal Rumble when it was the Brett extension better, because you had the option to figure out who wins, where they would go. The example was how well they booked Batista back in 2005, as that's one of my favorite Rumble Mania and builds. Even when you had that guy, what's his name, come 2004 to Raw.
Ben who?
Ben something. But it's a well-structured event. The last 2 years before, there was a debacle. Last year, I think they redeemed themselves, so I'm expecting a good one this year.
For me, I've always loved the Royal Rumble. It's my second favorite pay-per-view, just like Dilly. And it's just the unpredictability of it, the fact that there's only this match once a year. It makes it really special more than any other pay-per-view, because some say that SummerSlam might be better, but you don't have one special match that only happens once a year that impacts the biggest show in all of wrestling like the Royal Rumble does. So for me, the Royal Rumble is my second favorite pay-per-view, and the Royal Rumble match might be my favorite match in general. Like Kev said, it has so much potential for so many different things to happen, new guys to debut, different stories to take place, just so much going on in the Royal Rumble match that you have to pay attention to. And as a wrestling nerd like myself, I love that stuff, so it's great to watch. But we're today going to give you our 5 guys that we think might win the Royal Rumble in order, and then we're going to give you the surprises, the first entrant and the 32nd entrant. All 3 of us are going to have all that covered here. So let's just start off with who is going to be the number 1 entrant in the Royal Rumble. Dilly.
This is such a hard one to start with. I put Chris Jericho as the number 1 guy to start off there. He's the workhorse. Everybody loves that. But I feel like maybe some kind of storyline will happen with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens in the championship match, where Mick Foley will be pissed off, and he's like, you know what? If you're in the Royal Rumble, you're number 1. You're going to go out there first and wrestle. And then maybe some kind of big return will happen there. But I think Chris Jericho will be number 1, just plays in the storyline with Mick Foley and whatnot. So that was my most logical. Maybe you guys have a better one, but that's what I'm going to go with.
Kev?
I am going to go with The Miz.
Ooh. Okay, I can see it. I think both you guys had some pretty good choice, and I actually have a different one, so it's interesting.
Because if you're going to go with a number, because in my mind, number 2, that would be your first surprise. And I'm thinking, I have my own theories of who that will be. I think it's always good to start with a heel because then the number 2 is basically where you get the cheers. So the Miz will go number 1.
Okay, The Miz is a good choice. Jericho is an interesting choice. I can see why you would book that as well. My choice is actually another one that I think plays into storyline. I think it's Sami Zayn.
Ooh.
I think it just makes sense with his character, the point that they're trying to put across that Stephanie doesn't like Zayn. Basically, everything is piled up against Zayn. And if they're really trying to push him as this Mick Foley type character, then put him out first, have him last a long time, just get beat up constantly. Maybe have a couple of big guys come out first, have him beat him up, and really sell his character very well. And by putting him first, maybe even announce this a little bit before the match who's going to be first, like before the match even starts, like maybe have a segment between Stephanie and Zayn and maybe Foley too. Like have the whole thing where Zayn is going to be first, so he has to prepare himself to be first and all that, and the fans can really get behind him before the match even starts. So I think Zayn would be a good choice. I also like the choice of The Miz because of your surprise coming up. And Jericho is an interesting one. I think I want a little bit of an explanation for the Jericho one.
Okay.
Is it just because Mick Foley doesn't like Jericho and he wants to put him out there first because he wants to punish him?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of storyline to it. You got the Foley thing that's been going on, and also Jericho's a big-time heel, so it could be the same thing with Kevin here. You can have a babyface come in and make a big surprise and make it, more crowd exciting. So I think there's a storyline involved with it.
All right. Okay, let's move on to who we think is going to be on the opposite end of the Royal Rumble, number 30 in the Royal Rumble. It's not 40, it's 30.
30.
So who do we think is going to be the last entrant in the Royal Rumble? Didn't want to save this to the end because, it's kind of boring. So let's just tell you who's going to be 30. Dilly.
I picked Goldberg. This one was hard for me, but also Goldberg is not a guy to go in the Rumble and exactly last all the way through. If they want to build up this Brock Lesnar thing, Brock comes in at 29, Goldberg comes in at 30. They had this big clash. I just think it's a big number 30 pick. You get excited for Goldberg. So I'm going to go 30 as Goldberg.
And I'm going to go with The Undertaker.
Ooh.
Because I think it's going to be the one with the reaction, with the sort of that moment. And he's done number 30 before with success. So I'm going to go with The Undertaker.
It'd be the 10-year anniversary of when he did it at number 30.
I love both those picks. I think they both work. I lean towards The Undertaker because he's one of my top choices to win the Royal Rumble. # spoiler alert. Goldberg would also be good because, like you said, you want him kind of being that spectacle entrance. And the thing about the number 30 entrant is their entrance is going to be longer than other people's. So The Undertaker would make sense, and also Goldberg would make sense. So I think those are both the favorites there. If there was a wild card, I'm not really sure, honestly. I think
I'll throw a wild card in there.
You pretty much nailed it there.
I'll throw a wild card in.
What'd you got for a wild card?
Triple H.
I mean, that would kind of
if you put Triple H in the Rumble, he has to win.
Because that's what they did last year, and they put him at 30.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't necessarily have to win. He just has to cost Seth the match.
I guess.
That can make sense. But Mitch, who was your pick for 30?
I actually was going to pick The Undertaker until Kev stole it, but I like both your picks. All right, let's move on to who are going to be the surprises, guys that are coming back from the past, some glimpses from the past of WWE, and maybe the guys from NXT that are going to be called up. Any wrestlers? Let's give me a couple wrestlers. Dylan, we'll move on to Kev. We'll go to myself.
So do you want me to put all the 5 guys that I mentioned on here?
Just give me a couple.
Okay, I'll give you 2. Kurt Angle, the man, the myth, the legend. Everybody's talking about him. Needs to come back to WWE. So I think that's quite a good spot for him to come back in and make an impact. And I'll put in an NXT guy here, Ty Dillinger. 10, perfect 10. They've been building this guy up for so long, and NXT has been in developmental for God knows how long. And he's really over with the crowd. I think this would be a good crowd to get him over with as well, with the entrance and everything. I think he would be the NXT guy I would put up most. There's another guy we might mention here later. But yeah, I'm going to go Kurt Angle and Ty Dillinger as a return and a NXT call-up for this match.
Can I just make it known that I don't really like people debuting at the Royal Rumble because I feel like obviously the people in the arena are going to know who Ty Dillinger is, but maybe some of the people that don't watch NXT are going to not know who he is. And then you kind of have that whole confusion level where he comes to Raw or SmackDown one night and you're like, who's this guy?
I don't like that either, but I would also, I want to concur.
No, it has nothing to do with Ty Dillinger or WWE having guys come out, but it's just like the whole thing. I don't really like it from a character standpoint, you know?
Maybe, I don't know if WWE's smart enough to do this because we've seen their booking a lot lately, but maybe have some kind of vignettes in the middle of the show. Be like, oh, this guy is coming, or some kind of mysterious entrance, this one guy that you're going to grasp onto, and then have Ty Dillinger come out in that same entrance thing. I don't know, just something to put out there. I don't like it either, but it's at least a lot better than throwing them out in fucking cruiserweight matches. So, Kevin, who you got?
All right, so the return is good. It's not necessarily a guy that is returning per se, but I'm going to throw in Daniel Bryan into this. I do think we are going to see Miz and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I think that match is going to happen. They are building it. They clearly built it more last night. So
I'm the freaking best. I'm the best, damn it. I'm the freaking best.
Guys, I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but check out that Talking Smack promo with Miz and Daniel Bryan, and not the one from last year. The one that happened over here last night. Spectacular.
So I think he is going to enter the Rumble and not last long. The guy I'm going to throw in here is I think that this is the time we see.
Actually, Kev, before you bring your next guy up, tell us what you told us about Daniel Bryan. How would you book Daniel Bryan in the match? Because I think it needs some clarification because people are going to be like, why would Daniel Bryan come in? And my reasoning why I said it would be stupid because Daniel Bryan and the crowd's going to take over the match if Daniel Bryan's in it and they want Daniel Bryan to win. So how would you have the match booked so you avoid that situation?
Basically Daniel Bryan comes in, eliminates the Miz, and eliminates himself. So it's just a quick moment that you set up. All you do is set up that match between Miz and Bryan at WrestleMania. So it's not a moment that Bryan is winning the Rumble. You put him in at the right time. You put him in at 15, I don't think. And when you bring in your Goldberg, your Lesnar's, your Undertakers after, you're not going to get the boos at that point in time because people are going to be invested in that part of the story. So what the Royal Rumble does is if you notice it, they do it in two parts. There's a part one and a part two. Part one is usually the guy that's the lengthy guy, and then people come in and try to eliminate him, and that's probably what I would do. I would put Bryan in around 13, 14, put him in, throw out Miz, throw out Bryan, and then you've moved that story on.
All right.
I like it.
Is that $1 million idea?
It's a great idea.
Who's your next guy?
The next guy I think is quite. I think everyone knows everyone's expecting him, so I'm gonna throw in. I think the number 2 will be Samoa Joe. I just think it's time.
Damn it, that was gonna be one of my guys, but I have another one, so continue.
It's time. Everyone knows it. He's done his due diligence in NXT, and I think we're gonna see him rise to the roster at the Royal Rumble. I don't know if I like that he's going to be number 2 because I think Samoa Joe works so well as a heel, but I think that he's going to start off as a face like NXT and then build his way.
Well, it's kind of hard for a guy that's as known as Samoa Joe and as much, popularity as he has, even though he's a heel, to really start off as a heel.
Yeah.
They're going to have to slowly get across that this guy is not a fan favorite, Well,
the thing is, too, is this is in Orlando. No, it's in WrestleMania is in Orlando. It's do the TNA tie-in there with Orlando, but and he would be well known, but it's in San Antonio. But I think people will know who he is. So
Yeah, most people, at least the people that go to pay-per-views, are mostly hardcore fans and they know who Samoa Joe is. Yeah. So, especially at Royal Rumble, a big event like Royal Rumble. My pick is a guy that a lot of people probably forgot of, probably Kev, probably Dylan forgot. This guy was having vignettes not that long ago. And
vignettes?
Vignettes, yeah, this thing that starts with a V, and, you know, they had some for like Edge and Goldust and Val Venus back in the day.
Oh, shit.
That's perfect. You know, like all these guys, you know. This guy was having vignettes, and we're like, oh, this guy from the past is going to come back. It's going to be awesome. What about Shelton Benjamin?
Funny play. I had it on here, so I didn't forget anything.
I didn't forget him. I don't.
I mean, I don't know if he'll come back or not, but I'm just saying, like, there was that whole injury fiasco. He was supposed to come back. Maybe they just said, hey, we're going to debut you at Royal Rumble, and you're going to be one of the surprise entrants to start your.
That'd be great. That'd be great, because that would be like, oh, it would be great to see him, because Shelton Benjamin is great, one of the most underrated. I have another guy I want to throw out here. I saved one that you guys didn't say. Finn Balor.
He's on my list of possible guys that can win. So,
well, yeah, it depends on the injury statistics or whatnot and what's going to happen there. But people are saying that he's doing great with the injury recovery. Finn Balor, of course, lost the title, so there's something to be played there. So I'm going to pick Finn Balor on the list.
Okay, so we gave you our surprises. We have plenty there. Let us know who you guys think is going to be a surprise. Okay. Still, yeah, who's going to be surprised? Let us know in the comments section, and we're going to give you the top 5, not 10, guys that are going to win the Royal Rumble. I'll start with my 5th guy. Very unlikely, but I'll throw it out there. Bray Wyatt. I mean, he lost the tag team championship with Randy Orton. It could be Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt at this point, but probably Bray Wyatt's a little bit more likely than Randy Orton, so I put him at number 5. You know, they lost the tag team titles to the American Alpha. They are still trying to pursue that, but you have the whole angle with Orton and Bray, and that should play out during the Royal Rumble a little bit. I want to see that, especially Harper and Orton, so that will be interesting. But Bray does have a little bit of a chance because they've been pushing him a little bit more as of late, and he could be a sneaky guy maybe to go last a long time in the Royal Rumble. I don't think he'll win, but he's number 5 on my possible guys that can win.
I have a tie for 5 because I have 6 people, so I'm going to put this as a tie. I have Finn Balor and Braun Strowman at number 5 for different reasons. Finn Balor, of course, like I just said, lost the Universal Championship in controversial fashion with the injury and whatnot, had to relinquish it. The only reason he's number 5 and not higher is because I don't know if he's going to make it up in time. So I think that'd be a great story. It's pretty much set in stone for you. You have the championship. Rollins is going to be out of the title hunt because of his feud with H. You have a momentum right there for Finn Balor to win it. For Braun Strowman, the guy's been absolutely killing people on Raw. He's been booked as this monster heel that's been terrorizing the WWE, and he certainly is that big guy that you can be as believable as a Universal Champion. I don't know how many people are going to fare with the fact that Braun would win the Royal Rumble. That's why I say number 5 for me. But I still think there is a believable sense that, oh my God, this guy's going to kill everybody in the Royal Rumble. And that's why I said tied for number 5 on my rankings.
So my number 5 is I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. And I see your monster, and I'll raise you a monster-ish. And I'm going to throw in a guy that cut a hell of a promo last night in the contract signing. I'm going to go with Baron Corbin. This Strowman story is catching everybody's attention, but very slowly but surely, Baron Corbin has been building up quite a resume, quite similar to Braun Strowman actually on SmackDown, that people are not paying attention to. He's also is a better talker than Braun Strowman, and that's not even a debate, quite frankly. And
Baron Corbin is pretty much better in every single category, minus the fact that Braun Strowman is more of a monster.
I'm multitasking. Anyway,
ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Yeah,
the best thing ever.
And John Cena put him over, so I'm going to put Baron Corbin as number 5 on my list.
Interesting number 5. I like it though. I like it.
All right, so it's time for my number 4, and it's actually one of Dylan's number 5. I have Finn Balor. This was the guy, like, a couple months ago, I was like, I think Finn Balor's going to win the Royal Rumble. Now, the logic I had with this was Finn Balor lost the title. They really wanted to push him, and he got injured. So my thing is, what better than I think Roman Reigns is going to win the Universal title here. If he does, what a better loop story, come back full circle to have the guy that beat Roman Reigns for the championship, Finn Balor, full circle there at WrestleMania. You could have that whole build-up of Finn Balor wants to reclaim what's his. He never lost the title. He comes back, big pop for him coming out at Royal Rumble and winning the match. So I think you have the whole story with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And if he can come back from injury, I think it makes a lot of sense. But that's why I don't have him any higher, is because I don't really think he'll be in this match. But if he is, I think he has a very, very good chance of winning it.
All right, at number 4, we got on my list, we got somebody that's getting so much praise here from the Bottom Line View for absolutely spectacular moments each and every single night. We talked about him earlier, The Miz. The Miz has been putting in a lot of work the last couple of months as Intercontinental Champion. He just lost the belt last night to Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. The guy should be pushed heavily as a huge heel. He's fantastic on the mic. He's really good in the ring. Somebody like Miz could get an opportunity at the WWE Championship. Maybe that's not the main event match, but it would certainly be up there at the higher peak of the card. And Miz is just really, really good all the way around. So I'm going to go with Miz at number 4 as some of that dark horse, but he's been putting in a lot of work and would certainly get over his character with this win here. So I'm going to go with Miz.
Can you imagine if he went 1 to the end?
Oh, that'd be amazing. Then he would prove to Daniel Bryan that he could do it.
My number 4 is a guy that lost the last time we saw him, and he lost in 1 minute and 28 seconds. And there's just the way that you'd simply do this is he just walks in. He is so pissed off, angry that he throws everybody out. And they haven't put him we haven't seen him since. And I actually don't think we should see him until the Rumble, in my opinion, and that's Brock Lesnar. I think that he's going to be my number 4. There's still an opportunity for him to redeem himself, and he can pick whatever match that he wants. And remember, there's still 2 months between that and WrestleMania, so there is a possibility, and it has been done before, but you can challenge the champion before WrestleMania. Keep that in mind.
Interesting. That is very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
I think Lesnar does have a little bit of a chance. I think it's more of a chance than Goldberg, even, in my opinion. But I don't really see it happening. I see this guy a little bit more, and actually Dylan already said him. It's The Miz. Miz I have at number 3 because he just lost the Intercontinental Championship. And for me, I think The Miz, I put a video out. He's one of the top guys I think should win the title in 2017. I mean, he should be WWE champion. He's cut amazing promos, best promo cutter in the entire business right now. He's just the character that he has, the whole Hollywood gimmick, I think is very appealing to all fans. Not only the hardcore fan base, but also the casual fan base. I think as a heel champion, more than really anybody in the company, I think he has a lot of mainstream appeal to him as a heel champion. And I think he'd be an excellent WWE champion for the second time and really have a better reign than he did the first time because he's better in every category pretty much. I think the whole Maurice thing helps him in the match. I think it would be interesting to see if Maurice comes out at some point in the match, maybe to help him win. I just think you have this whole story, even if Daniel Bryan doesn't come out and we maybe don't get the Daniel Bryan Miz match, that somehow Miz is involved in the main event, and then you can build Daniel Bryan's from some different direction, trying to get the Miz to lose that big match at WrestleMania. So I think you have different avenues that you can go with the Miz, and I just really like the Miz at this point. I think he's the best performer right now in WWE, so I think he has a huge chance of winning as well.
All right, for number 3 is somebody that Mitch just sandbagged, is someone that has no chance in his top 5, and that's Goldberg. I think Goldberg is that Hey, Goldberg. He's got the best entrance. That's why I was thinking about him at number 30. But when you look at Goldberg, you got this big guy. He's been popping ratings for a while here for WWE because their ratings have been absolute crap. And when he gets on the shows, people seem to enjoy him a lot more. He brings in the tickets. He's a big draw. He's a big WCW guy. You got somebody that, is not a big surprise, but has been, been out mostly since 2004. So I think somebody like Goldberg could be like, wow, this guy's going to be the main event of WrestleMania 33. Like, people will go to see Goldberg. It's more that main attraction kind of thing, and him in the championship match. So for me, 3 is Goldberg. Not exactly number 1. We'll get to that later, but I think Goldberg has a good, decent chance at winning the Royal Rumble, in my opinion.
I think it's just because I know the way that they're going to try and book this. I just feel like they're going to have Lesnar come out first. He's going to destroy everybody. And then they're going to have that whole thing where Goldberg and him lock. Lesnar's waiting for him. The only person in the ring, Goldberg comes out. They start brawling and stuff. And they just take each other out of the match somehow. I think that's how you book this, because I think that match is going to be at WrestleMania. And I don't think it needs a title because it's a big enough attraction. So that's why I don't think Goldberg's going to win. But and that he's a part-timer. So, but yeah,
we saw Lesnar with the title.
I think the booking is too clear, in my opinion.
Hey.
See, I actually think that they're going to put in Goldberg first and Lesnar next. That's how I see it, but I do see I think that's what they're going to do, is to fight off. I had Goldberg at number 3 as well. I think if you're I think the WrestleMania number will be very interesting, because you're right, Brock and Goldberg doesn't necessarily need the title, but it might also need the title in the sense of Raw ratings as well. So there is that politic part of it. I do think that Brock and Goldberg should go on last, but I do think that the Raw rating is going to have something to play whether or not they get the title. So
I think there's going to be a different match that goes on last. I have the guy that is my number 1 will be a part of that. And so my number 2 is Break the Walls Down, Chris Jericho, from little old Winnipeg, Manitoba. I think Chris Jericho, this guy has been amazing on Raw. He's been one of the main reasons to watch Raw in 2016 and now into 2017. And he has the whole story with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is the champ right now. If he retains, there's a very good chance that Chris Jericho wins the Royal Rumble, because they've had that whole story where they've been back and forth as best friends, not best friends, best friends, not best friends. And they even brought it up last Raw. What if I win the Royal Rumble? I'm going to enter the Royal Rumble and win, and then best friends will be the main event. And no matter what, we'll win it. And I think you just have a built-in storyline there. That's great. So I'm going to put Chris Jericho at number 2.
Number 2. I just got handed food, so I'm kind of phased a minute. So yeah, for here, I'm going to go Chris Jericho as well. At number 2. Like Mitch said, the story's built. It's everything that you need for Jericho. The best friends thing that's been going on. Kevin Owens, if he retains at Royal Rumble, there's a good chance that they want to push him and have Jericho in a main event match, or a main event top tier match. So I'm going to go with Chris Jericho. He's been putting on a lot of great matches and moments in the last year since his return, and he's just been going crazy. So I'm going to go with Jericho on this one as a number 2 on my list.
So I'm going to make it unanimous, and I'm going to say Chris Jericho as well. I think that you have that potential. Here's the other way that you can build this is, and we went back to one of my favorite builds, which was the Triple H Batista build, was you could tease Jericho heading to SmackDown and challenging for that title as well. And then you could say, hey, best friends have both belts. We're both champions. So you do have a lot of different options with Jericho, but he is my number 2 pick for this as well.
All right. My number 1 is your number 1 all Undertaker?
Yes.
Dylan, stop eating.
I'm hungry.
Okay, so turn your camera off at least, damn it. All right, so it's The Undertaker. Number 1 is The Undertaker. I think the stage is set. This could be Undertaker's last match. I think they want to have the WWE Championship match be John Cena and The Undertaker. Kev, you said Goldberg, Lesnar. I think this match goes on last at WrestleMania. I think it's the biggest match of WrestleMania, and I think a lot of people for a long time have been speculating about this match. I think this is the year it happens. I think John Cena wins the title against AJ Styles. I think Undertaker, we could potentially have that storyline of the Ray Lewis, Peyton Manning thing. And
that was my idea, by the way.
That was his idea. I give him credit for it. But I just think it's just set. The stage is set. Like you said, San Antonio, The Undertaker in Texas comes out last and wins the Royal Rumble.
I think it's pretty simple right there. Just like you said, it's set up right there. Taker Cena, that big match we have never gotten at a big main stage. And this is just something that that deserves money. People will be invested in it. Taker's swan song, if you will, here at Mania, and getting this Royal Rumble match. Cena's in the WWE Championship match. You have it set right in your hands, ready for this opportunity. So I'm going to go with The Undertaker as well.
My scenario is similar to the Ray Lewis Peyton Manning. It's sort of not really my scenario. It's actually came from JR, but the idea is the Undertaker retires as champion. And I think we forget Texas is also not only Shawn Michaels' home state, but it is also the Undertaker's home state. And this is for the last ride. I think the perfect way, put him in the Hall of Fame, retire him as champion, and the legend lives on. Go back to that promo that he did on that SmackDown before Survivor Series, that he wants to be known for more than just WrestleMania. I think the answer to that is he wants to be known as the Royal Rumble winner and as a champion. I think he's the right guy to do it. If this was any other arena that was not a 60,000 seat arena, I would have Chris Jericho win the Rumble, but this one, I don't think you go with anyone else but The Undertaker, in my humble and somewhat professional opinion.
I completely agree. Business-wise, makes sense. Cena, Taker for the title, makes sense. Love you, JR. We're going to your show in Orlando. And by the way, I wanted to bring this up. I'm just going to say, we, as a group here on the Bottom Line View, myself and Dylan and Mike are going to WrestleMania. So we want the best possible Royal Rumble as humanly possible, because we want all the storylines, everything to match up at WrestleMania and have like a great WrestleMania, because we're going. So,
because let's be honest, last year when we all went, storylines were clunky as hell and they didn't make sense. Okay, it was still fun, but we want it to be really, really fun, and that's the best
and
thing.
I'll be watching it here from the fine comforts of Vancouver, British Columbia. So
hey, the Canadian staying over there, gotta have a little dedication.
Well, guys, this is the Bottom Line View. Myself, Dylan, Kev. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also, if you enjoy what you see here, check out the channel. We have lots of wrestling content, lots of sports content, lots of stuff building up to WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble itself. So thanks, guys, for watching. These are the guys that will win the Royal Rumble. These are the guys that will be the surprises and will finish the big night in San Antonio. I think it's going to be The Undertaker. We all think it's going to be The Undertaker, and we're really excited. Thanks, guys, for watching. Peace out.
Peace.